friends, this is Krista and you're watching Books and Jams. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel again. I am finally getting around to answering your questions. It's about time, right? I asked in my 2K giveaway video from earlier in June for some questions if you had any, and I received a ton. And originally I was just going to kind of read through that post and answer them as they came, but there were just too many and I thought it might be more interesting if I kind of grouped them together. Plus, a lot of people asked similar kind of questions, so I can answer it just once instead of 4 times now. In my last Q&A, I included the person's name who asked the question, but in order to save some time, I'm just gonna do the questions and give you the answers. So today's video is gonna be part 1. I'm gonna answer all of the questions about my life, where I live and what I do for work and those kinds of things. It's gonna take a while, and so let me just jump right in. How did I get into nannying is the first question, and when I moved here to Virginia, I knew that I wanted to work with kids more directly. I have always enjoyed having jobs where I work with children, which is why I have loved substitute teaching, and I was the children's pastor at my church in Massachusetts. So I knew when I came here I wanted to work with kids, and nannying just seemed a great way to kind of support the substitute teaching because I can't live on substitute teaching salary. So I wanted to somehow combine it, and I found a job that allowed me to do that, and now I have 2 families that I'll be nannying for and will not be going back to substitute teaching in the fall because I love the 2 families that I'm working with. Do I read to the kids? Absolutely. Even when I substitute taught, I brought books with me so that I could read to them. And the baby that I nanny on Tuesdays and Thursdays, part of our daily routine before he goes down for a nap, we read for a good 15 to 20 minutes. It's amazing that his attention span lasts that long because he's only 1 year old, but we've been doing it since he was 4 months when I started. So I do absolutely love reading to the kids that I nanny. Same person asked, if so, what are some of my favorites I've read to them? The new family I've only had like for a week, so I don't really have any favorites for them yet. But with the baby that I watch, we love Dr. Seuss. He just gets a kick. We love the ABC book. We love Hop on Pop, which are not necessarily the most fun for me to read, but he just absolutely loves them. Oh, there's also an excavator book that he likes because it has a lot of onomatopoeia like whoosh, smush, crush, with some rhyming, and so I always exaggerate those words and he thinks that that's so much fun. Where am I from? I originally grew up in central New York. I lived in Syracuse. I was born in Pennsylvania, but we quickly moved to Rochester, New York, Syracuse, New York. I've lived in the Fulton, Oswego area, so basically that area of New York. How has my experience been making new friends in Virginia? It is not easy when you move to a new place to make friends. It just takes time, I guess, especially because I'm an introvert. It does take time and I have to put myself out there. So getting involved at church, finding a church first of all, and then getting involved at that church has been so instrumental in making friends for me. But also there's a website called Meetup where you can find interest-based groups. So I've joined a hiking group, I've joined a board games group, and I have joined a reading group. I also found a pickup volleyball that happens every Tuesday night, and I've been making some friends at that as well because I love volleyball and that's been fun getting to know people there. If I could learn a new language, what would it be? I would definitely say Spanish because I do have a little bit of schooling in that already. I am nowhere near being fluent. I do have some basis of vocabulary and very basic things that I do remember, and I feel like that would be one that I could learn quickly and it would be very useful in the area that I live. The best vacation I've ever been on. That's a tough one. I have been on a number of missions trips which were really cool. I wouldn't necessarily call them vacations, even though I did get to visit a lot of really cool places. I think for me, I would say right after college, my best friend and I went to England, Scotland, Belgium, Wales to hear the accent, and Luxembourg for lunch because we were in Belgium. We could take the train into Luxembourg for lunch. That was a really learning experience. We were so young. It was my first flight ever anywhere, was across the Atlantic, so that was cool. We did get to see some beautiful places. The Lake District in England was one of my favorite places. Yeah, that was just a lot of fun just to go with my friend. We backpacked, but we brought way too much stuff. Stayed in youth hostels, and I had some friends from a camp that I worked at that we stayed with as well. We tried to make it as inexpensive as we could, but it was so much fun to trot around England. Have I gotten the itch to move again? And if so, where do I think it will be to? I have not, because I've only lived here for less than a year, so I'm not at all thinking about moving again. However, I have a 6-year plan that seems to happen in my life. The last 3 places I've lived, I've been at those places for 6 years each. So when it comes to 5 years, I'll have to let you know, because that's when I start thinking, am I going to stay here? Am I going to go somewhere else? I would like to settle down, but I think it would take a man for that to happen, because I kind of have a little bit of a wandering spirit. I like to travel to new places and live in new places and learn new places. Other than reading, what do I like to do in my free time? I kind of touched on that with the meetup groups. I love to go hiking and find new places to go walking. I love to kayak. I love to go to the beach and read. That's still reading, but with my feet in the sand. I do love to play board games. I need more people to play board games with. I watch reality TV. That's about the only TV that ever gets turned on in my house. Have I ever been a teacher? I did get my teaching certification when I lived in Pennsylvania, but I've never had my own classroom. I've only ever substitute taught. What are jams? I have some on today. These were my 4th of July jams. Unfortunately, there are some changes coming up with Jamberry. I am no longer an active consultant, but jams are stands for Jamberry. They are like vinyl-like nail stickers that last up to 2 weeks on your nails. What is the hair grow out goal? A couple people asked this. I'm very clearly growing out my hair. It started because I moved to Virginia and I don't have a hairdresser here. So having short hair, you have to have somebody that you trust that can cut your hair consistently, because you have to take care of it when it's super short. So I just started growing it out initially because I didn't have anybody that I know, and I still haven't found a good hairdresser. I've tried a couple different ones and have not been pleased. So I'm kind of letting it grow out because it's just easier to go longer in between going to the salon. The goal, it will not go past my shoulders. It will stay relatively short, and honestly, once I find a hairdresser I like, I will probably chop it all off again, because I feel like really short hair suits me and my personality better. But we'll see. So it'll stay short, probably some more layers that's in it right now, but I need to find a good salon. My all-time favorite place that I visited or lived, and why. I really loved each of the places that I lived. I lived in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a while, and I miss the good farmers markets so much. In Massachusetts and here, I've been to a couple farmers markets, but they're not cheaper than the grocery store, and that's super irritating. So in Pennsylvania, I could get so much produce for so cheap and from local farmers, and that's ideal, and I just don't like to pay more than what I can get at the grocery store. So I do miss that about Lancaster. Plus, it was such a cool mix of like the Amish community, but there's some culture in the city and like history, really old. Some places there that are like the longest running, continuously running theater, I think in America, maybe, is in Lancaster. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's just a good mix of things in Lancaster for such a small city. My favorite movie or TV show, all the Pride and Prejudice versions I love. My favorite TV show is, well, like I said, I love reality TV, so I love The Voice, and I love The Bachelor, Bachelorette, all the Bachelor shows. Big Brother in the summer, I love. So silly, right? But recently I just watched all the way through The Office and all the way through Parks and Rec, and those were a lot of fun as well. Am I married? No. Kind of sadly to me, because that was not my plan. I am currently 42, just had a birthday Saturday, the 7th. Yeah, definitely thought I would have a huge family by now, but that has not happened. Am I still loving Virginia, and have I found good restaurants and things to do? Yeah, I really do enjoy it here. It's in the middle of the summer right now, and I love it. I don't mind the heat. The humidity days get a little irritating, but I don't mind the heat. I love living where the winter was not nearly as bad as what I'm used to. It was kind of funny to laugh at people who got freaked out by 3 inches of snow. Yeah, so I am loving Virginia. I like trying out different restaurants. I try not to eat out that often because financially that's not wise for me, but I do love exploring and finding new places in town. My brother lives with me now, so we've gone out a few times to try different places, and that's been a lot of fun. One of our favorites is called the Fancy Biscuit, and it's a teeny tiny little restaurant that just makes like biscuits and gravy and chicken biscuits, and that you watch them make the biscuits right in front of you, and that's one of my favorite places that I found so far. Do I think Virginia is my forever place? No. I don't ever think that about any place that I've ever lived. Someday, hopefully, heaven is my forever place. Have I ever traveled outside the U.S. and where? So yes, I have. I already told you about the England trip right after college, but the other places I've been are Missions trips. I've gone to Romania, Thailand, Bosnia, Guatemala, Mexico. I've been to Canada because I used to live in New York. We went to Niagara Falls and Toronto. Hungary, when I was in Romania, we flew in and out of Hungary, so we walked around Budapest quite a bit. Oh, Haiti. I've been to Haiti twice. I'm going to the Dominican this September, but I can't count that yet. I have another brother who lives in Turkey, and I'd really like to go there. Do I have any pets, and would I have any? The answer is no. Sorry for pet lovers, but I am not an animal person. I get grossed out by dogs, cats I'm allergic to. I used to have fish and hamsters and birds, but they're just annoying. Fish are not annoying, but they die quickly and I don't get attached to them, so what's the point? I'm definitely not an animal person at all. Favorite things to do with my family. We like to play games together. We like to just sit around and chat. My mom and I like to go for walks. I do have a pretty big family. I'm 18 years older than my youngest sister, Rachel. I'm the oldest of 8. One of them has passed away. We're not super close, but I do love to see them cook out, laugh. I mean, it's always crazy when we're all together. It hasn't happened that we're all together in a really, really long time, so that's kind of sad. Do I play any instruments or sing in a choir? I do play piano and guitar. Not extremely well on either one, but well enough. Especially on piano. I prefer piano to guitar. I've just been playing it longer. I do sing not in a choir, but at my church on the worship team I sing occasionally and play as well. So yes. And I played flute in high school, but that's been quite a long time. My next big travel goal, I mentioned already, I'm going to the Dominican Republic on a trip with my church in September. Favorite place I've lived, I kind of already said Lancaster. Favorite food or place that I've discovered in Virginia, I already talked about Fancy Biscuit. Sorry I didn't combine those. What kind of music do I listen to, and do I have any favorite artists? Honestly, I don't listen to that much music. When I have time around the house, I watch booktube videos. I don't listen to music while I'm reading. And when I do listen to music, it's often worship music. I don't particularly like Christian radio stations. I prefer like church worship team that have produced albums. So that's really the only thing I listen to on any kind of a regular basis, and even that is not that regular. Where in the world would I like to live if money weren't a problem? I guess that would mean that I could travel home to see my family. It's one of the things. I've never wanted to live too far that I wouldn't be able to go home and visit, like for a long weekend or something. So now I'm pushing that now. It's about 8 to 9 hours if I avoid traffic to get to my mom's house. So that's on the edge of doable for a long weekend. But if money weren't a problem and I could just fly everywhere, I think I would probably say England. I wouldn't have to learn a new language to be there. It's got some beautiful history and beautiful landscapes that I just would love to explore. That's part of my wandering spirit. I guess I would probably say England. What did I study in college? I was an elementary education major until my senior year. I changed my major to English because it's the only thing I could do and graduate on time. So I have a degree in English. Have I ever used it? No. I took all lit classes because I was like the senior English major bringing my papers to the writing lab because I'm not a writer at all. So yeah, I took all lit classes, which meant a lot of reading, which looking back now was a blessing because in my senior year of college, also my dad passed away. So I missed 2 weeks of school, and just being able to escape into a book instead of having to face the grief that was all consuming was a blessing in disguise, looking back. That was not part of the question. Have I ever considered teaching middle school or high school? No way. Nope. No. I like the younger kids for sure. Where did I grow up? I already answered Central New York. What's my favorite thing about summer? Ice cream, extra time, warm weather, t-shirts, tank tops, and shorts. When did I become a Christian? I grew up, and my dad was a pastor when I was much younger, and so I grew up always being around church, but I first understood and asked Jesus in my heart when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember a time when I didn't love Jesus, but when I was kind of in my teenage years is where my faith really became my own and not just something kind of we did as a family. How did I choose Richmond, and do I like it? Yes, I love it. And I have a friend who's lived here for a decade, and I've been to visit her 7 or 8 times throughout the last 10 years, and I always told her that next time I move, I'm coming south, so I might end up here in Richmond, and I did. My favorite animal? Don't have one. Favorite Jamboree wraps? I have a ton. I like the ones that are kind of on the darker side with some pattern in them, like especially black and white ones. I have tons. I like some of the floral ones that are really pretty. It just depends. I usually match it to 1 or 2 outfits and then wear that for a couple weeks. I already answered this one, but what do I miss about the places that I've lived? Mainly, it's the people. I've really made some fantastic lifelong friends in each of the places that I've lived, so it's really hard to be away from those people. I also miss the farmers markets in Lancaster and Amish root beer. I also miss some of the thrift stores and bookstores that I used to go to in Massachusetts. I miss living near the lake, near where my mom lives, but mainly it's the people. What superpower would I like to have? I feel like I've had this question before, but I think I would say flying, just so that I can get to go visit these places that I've lived and new places and do some of that exploring all the time without cost. Flying for sure. My favorite and least favorite jobs. This is tough because I feel like I've had a lot of really good jobs. Definitely my favorite job was being a camp counselor. I did that when I was a kid for almost 10 years, starting from my 15th, 16 years old. But I also was able to do it at the church that I worked at in Massachusetts. I took kids to camp as well and was able to counsel again. So much fun. Can never get old for me. Gets tiring as I get older, but it's so much fun. Least favorite job? I don't think I've had a job that I hated, which is a blessing, right? Yeah, I can't think of a job that I hated. Do I plan to show my house or garden in a video? Yeah, someday. Once it's all, I've lived here 9 months and I still don't have things hanging on the walls and stuff, but once I'm getting better, it's coming together. Once I feel like I'm ready to show it, I will. A library room tour is coming soon because that's almost ready. And how are my adventures going? Wonderfully. I'm going on an adventure today to a new beach that I've never been to, but I'm making myself film a few videos first so that I have a few things to edit and get up this week. So that is it for today. I think I'll be able to edit this down to under 20 minutes. That is always my goal. I am so thankful for all these questions, and I will have a part 2, possibly part 3, that are more bookish, booktube related questions, and so that will be coming very soon. I would love to chat with you as always down in the comments about my answers to any of these questions or anything else that you wanted to ask me about my life that you maybe didn't, or that I didn't answer fully enough for you. Go ahead and ask me down in the comments box below. Go ahead and ask me down in the comments below and I will chat with you down there. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, even if you love animals and I don't. We can still be friends, okay? Subscribe if you haven't already, and be watching for another video from me very soon. Bye.